परम प्रेम में कामरी वीर वीर जन प्रिय प्रिय करो निर्माण पूजितम श्री चैतन्य कृपा भरौ श्री चैतन्य कृपा भरौ भुवि भुव मारव अंतरक वंदे रूप सनातन रघुजुगौ श्री विचार नहीं कभी पुनः सद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणं त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरण करो विकार नहीं कल्पना सद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरण विचार नहीं कल्पना सद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरण श्री चैतन्य कृपा भरौ लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरण करो विचार नहीं कल्पना Dharma Samstapaka Lokanang Hitakarina Tribhuvane Mannang Sarunakara Radha Krishna Radha Krishna Padaravindav Bhajanamritav Radha Krishna Padaravindav Bhajana Nandela Mattalika Vande Rupa Sanatanam Raghujugal Siji Krishna Kirtana Dana Natala Parau Prema Manidhi Veera Veera Janapriya Nima Udita Sri Chaitanya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Paramahansa Paribhajagacharya Sattva Smala Vedanta Swami Jaya Nanda Gori Vaishnava Jaya Ramacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Jaya Names of the whole Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu राधा कृष्ण को गोपिला शाम कुंड राधा कुंड की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, नवदीप धाम की जय, गंगा माई की जय, जमुना माई की जय, द्वारका धाम की जय, स्वामी भक्तवृंद की जय। All glories to the Lord. All glories to the Lord. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.
Krishna, dear devotees, we have not seen His Grace Gauranga Priya Prabhu. I don't know who is who has invited him. But while we wait for him, we can continue enjoying the Prabhupada irrigation mantra for some time.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna.
We are under the nature's law. You cannot say that you are independent. Nature's law is very strict. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvas. Nature's law just like fire. If you touch fire, it will burn. And even a child who is innocent, if the child touches the fire, it will burn. There is no excuse. You cannot say that the child is innocent. It does not know the effect of touching fire. She should be excused. No. Ignorance is no excuse. Especially, that is the state laws. You cannot say, suppose you have committed some criminal act. If you plead, my Lord, I did not know that after doing this act, I had to suffer imprisonment. So excuse me. No, that will be no excuse. You know or not know the law. If you have acted like that, you might suffer. This is going on. So we don't believe in the next life just to avoid this consequence. But that will not excuse us. We have to accept a type of body. Otherwise, how? There are so many different types of bodies. What is the explanation? Why different forms of body, different stages of body, different standard of body? That is nature's law. Therefore, this human form of life should be properly utilized. Not simply engaged in sense gratification like cats and dogs. That is not very responsible life. Responsible life is that I have got this improved form of life than the cats and dogs, and I have got more intelligence than the cats and dogs. If I simply utilize it for 4 bodily necessities of life, 4 bodily necessities of life means we require some eating. The cats, dogs, human being, or High Court judge or anyone, they require some eating. They require sleeping, apartment. So that is, cats and dogs can sleep without apartment. But the sleeping required. That is fact. Eating required. That is fact. And sex life. That is also fact. And defense. That is also fact. But these things are common to the cats and dogs and man, human being. So what is the special feature of the human being? The special feature of the human being is that a human being can consider that I have got this nice American or Australian or Indian body, then what I am going to get next? What kind of body? That is utilized for human intelligence. A cat and dog cannot think like that. Therefore, our business should be, now by the nature's way, I have come to this form of life, by evolutionary process. Now I have got good intelligence. How I shall utilize it? That proper utilization is indicated in the Vedanta philosophy. Vedanta philosophy, perhaps you have heard the name. Veda means knowledge, and Anta means last stage or end. Everything has got some end. So you are being educated, you are taking education, where it shall end. That is called Vedanta. Where the ultimate point. The Vedanta philosophy says, that is Vedanta philosophy. Ultimate knowledge. The ultimate knowledge, that is explained in the Bhagavad Gita. What is that ultimate knowledge? Vedaishta sadvai ahameva vedam. You are cultivating knowledge. The ultimate goal of knowledge, Krishna says, is to know me. Vedaishcha sadvai ahameva vedam. The whole knowledge is meant for understanding God. That is the end of knowledge. By progressive knowledge, you can make progress, but unless you do not come to the point to understand what is God, then your knowledge is imperfect. That is called Vedanta. Athata Brahma Jigyasa. This human form of life, nice facility, intelligence, just like Australia was undeveloped since the Europeans came here. It is now very developed, resourceful, because the intelligence has been utilized. Similarly, America, many other places. So this intelligence should be utilized. But if we simply utilize this intelligence for the same purpose as the cats and dogs are engaged, then it is not proper utilization. The proper utilization is Vedanta, Athata Brahma Jigyasa. Now you should inquire about Brahma, the Absolute. That is intelligence. So people do not care to understand how nature's law is going on. Nature's law means God's law. Nature is not independent. That is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Maya dhakshena prakriti swayate sacharachana. Nature is a machine. So do you think a machine works without an operator? Do you think? Is there any evidence? Now this is a machine, photography. A wonderful machine. It is taking the picture and it will move. But there is an operator. Where is the machine which is working without operator? Can you give any example? Here is a machine which is working without operator. So how do you think that the nature machine is working without the supreme operator, God's instruction? How do you think it? This is not very reasonable. We have to judge. There are different evidences. One of the evidence is hypothesis. That hypothesis is that because we see that no machine works without operator, therefore we should conclude it, even though we do not know what is God, what is the nature, we must conclude it that this nature is working under some supreme operator, that is God. It is not necessary to see the operator, but we can guess that there must be operator. The human life is meant for finding out who is there to operate. That is human life. Otherwise, it cats and dogs' life. They're eating, sleeping, mating, and dancing. That's all. That is not human life. You must find out who is the operator. Athata Brahma Jigyasa. This is called in Sanskrit word. Now this human form of life is meant for inquiring about the supreme operator. Now that supreme operator, Krishna, is so kind. He is giving evidence in the Bhagavad Gita. Maya dhakshena prakriti swayate sacharacharam. Now here I am. Under my direction, the prakriti, the nature, material nature is working. So you accept, then your business is done. And Krishna gave evidences how he is controlling the nature. When Krishna was 7 years old, he lifted one big mountain on his finger. That means our understanding is that there is law of gravitation, By law of gravitation, such a big mountain, it cannot stay in one man's finger. That is our calculation. But he did it. That means he counteracted the law of gravitation. And that is God. So, if you believe this, then you know God immediately. There is no difficulty. Just like if the child is warned, my dear child, do not touch fire. It will burn you. So if the child accepts, then he gets the perfect knowledge immediately. If the child does not accept, he wants to make experiment, then he will burn his finger. So our process of knowledge we should take from the Supreme Authority. Then we save time for research work. That is Krishna consciousness movement. We take perfect knowledge from Krishna. I may be imperfect, just like child is imperfect. I may be imperfect, you may be imperfect. But if you take the perfect knowledge from the Supreme Perfect, then your knowledge is perfect. That is the process. This is called Avarohopantha, knowledge coming, deductive knowledge. So everything is there, and if you like to take advantage of this movement, make your life perfect, go back to home, back to Godhead, then fully utilize the center, our Melbourne center, come here, read our books and argue, try to understand with your full knowledge, no blindly acceptance. There is reason, there is argument, there is philosophy, there is science, everything is there. And if you accept that simply by chanting I shall realize, that is also allowed. Both ways. If you accept this simple process, the chant Hare Krishna and realize God, that is also fact. And if you think what is this nonsense chanting Hare Krishna, then you read books. Both ways.
So the devotees, so His Grace Gauranga Priya Prabhu is not here. That is why we are praying Srila Prabhupada's lecture. So His Grace Srinivas Vanachari Prabhu is trying to contact him. So as soon as he comes, he will take over from wherever we stop Prabhupada lecture. Hare Krishna.
Prepared. Come and take advantage of this movement. Thank you very much.
Jai, Jai, Jai.
We understand in the scriptures that Lord Brahma rides on Hamsa. Is this, we take this to mean that it's a real swan, or is it something symbolic?
Not symbolic, it's fact. Why do you say symbolic?
It's rather unusual.
Unusual, what experience you have got? You have no experience. Have you got any experience of other planetary system? What is there? Then? Your experience is very teeny. So you should not calculate Brahma's life and other things by your teeny experience. Now, in the Bhagavad Gita it is said that the duration of life of Brahma, Sahasra Juga Parjantam Arahajat Brahmano Vidu. Now Brahma's life, it is stated in the Shastra. We have already explained that we accept the authoritative statement of Shastra. Now Brahma's life is stated there. Arahat means his one day is equal to our 4 yugas. 4 yugas means 4,300,000 years, and multiply it by 1,000. Sahasra Juga Parjantam, Sahasra means 1,000. And Juga means the 4,300,000 years makes a Juga. and multiply it by 1,000. That period is Brahma's one day. Similarly, he has got one night. Similarly, he has got 1 month. Similarly, he has got 1 year. And such 100 years he will live. How you can calculate? How it is within your experience? You think something mysterious? No. Your experience is nothing. Therefore, you have to take experience from the perfect person, Krishna. Then your knowledge is perfect. That I have already said. Don't try to understand with your teeny experience everything. Then you will be failure. That I have already explained. That you are coming here, even though you are not initiated, that is also service. So, if you deposit 1 cent daily, one day it may become $100. So when you get the $100, you can get the business. So you come here daily, 1 cent, 1 cent. When it will be $100, you will become a devotee. So this is not wasted. It is, that is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Krita punna punya. Krita punna. Krita means done. Sukadeva Goswami is describing when Krishna was playing with his cowherd boys' friends. So he was describing that these cowherd boys who are playing with Krishna, they have not come to this position in one day. Krita punna punya, after life, having performed pious activities, now they have come to this position, that they are allowed to play with the Supreme. So, Krita punna punya, any pious activity is done for the sake of Krishna. That is your permanent asset. It will never be lost. So go on. Increasing the asset. One day it will so help you that you will be able to play with Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness movement. First of all, you are devotee, he is not.
There are different or many spiritual movements in the world. How can I know which one is the right for me?
It is very easy. Spiritual movement means to understand God. Any spiritual movement you adopt, if you understand God, then it is all right. Otherwise it is bogus. If you understand God, you take any movement. If you think everyone is spiritual movement, all right, you take it. Then, if you come to understand, now I have understood God, then that is all right. Otherwise bogus.
I have no experience. So.
That is experience. That's why if you eat, you will feel satisfaction. And without eating, how will you feel satisfaction? So if you follow spiritual movement, then you will understand God. That is the result. And if you think that you are following some spiritual movement, but you do not know what is God, that means you are following some bogus thing. That is the test. It hasn't got to be certified. You can know. Just like if you eat, you will feel satisfaction. You haven't got to take certificate from others. Do you think I am eating? And you can say. If you understand fully God, then that is spiritual movement. If you do not understand, then you must know that you are following some bogus movement. This is the test.
There are different cars.
I say different, maybe hundreds, but it is up to you to test whether you have understood God. That is the test, real test. Yes.
How would you this person who says they're suffering when they actually, in that state of being, not afraid to die?
Someone who is not afraid to die and says that he's not suffering.
He's a madman. That's all. Who is caring for madman's work?
It's very easy to convince some people that they're not their bodies, but it's not very easy to convince them that they're not their minds. There's some way we can...
But that will take time. How can we expect? In 1 minute everyone will understand everything. It requires education, time. If he is prepared to give the time, then he will understand. Not that within 5 minutes, 10 minutes he will understand the whole thing. That's not possible. He is a diseased man. He requires treatment, medicine, and diet. In this way he will understand. A diseased man, if he doesn't care for medicine, diet, then he'll suffer. That's all. Yes? Anyone? No?
Through being here lifetime after lifetime performing impulse activities, or does it mean that we have to be here lifetime after lifetime performing pious activities to balance our simple reactions?
We have been here for many lifetimes performing sinful activities. So is it possible to counteract all those sinful activities in one lifetime, or does it require many?
1 minute. That is Krishna consciousness movement. 1 minute. You are not reading Bhagavad Gita? What Krishna says? Sarva dharman parityajya mamekang saranang braja aham ta sarva papebhya mokshayami. You surrender unto me, give up your all business. I will give you relief from all sinful reaction, immediate. It requires 1 minute. My dear Krishna, I was forgotten, now I understand, I fully surrender unto you. Then you become immediately free from all sin. Without any reservation, without any politics. If you fully surrender, Krishna is assuring, aham tva sarva papi bhamokhaisami masucha. He reassures. Don't worry whether I will be able to give you relief from all reaction. Masucha. It is guaranteed. You do this. So, how much time it requires to surrender to Krishna? Immediately you can do that. Surrender means you surrender and work as Krishna says. That is surrender. What Krishna says to do. Manmana bhavamad bhakta madhyajimang namaskuru. 4 things. You always think of me and you become my devotee, you worship me and offer your respectful obeisances unto me. You do these 4 things. That is full surrender. Mami vaishyasi asangsa. Then you come to me without any doubt. Everything is there. Krishna has given everything fully. If you accept it, then life is very simple. There is no difficulty. Yes?
How long do you think is before Krishna comes to this planet again in physical, in human form?
Now calculate, I have already given the duration of 1 day, 12 hours of Brahma, means 4,300,000 years multiplied by 1,000. What it comes? 4,300,000 years multiplied by 1,000.
4,300 million.
Huh?
4,300 million.
No.
4 billion.
Oh, depends of opinion.
In Australia, they calculate different.
Anyway, what is your Australian conclusion? Let me know.
Their billion is something else.
Oh. Anyway, I give you the right figure, 4 million, according to American and English calculation. 4,300,000 years, and multiply it by 1,000. Then what it comes according to English calculation?
4,300,000,000.
Huh?
4,300,000,000.
That is 12 hours. And add again 12 hours night. Then 8 billion.
600 million.
So Krishna comes after this period. In 1 day, after 1 day of Brahma, he appears.
But does Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also appear every
Yes, following Krishna.
always following?
Krishna comes in the Dapur Ju. There are 4 periods of each Ju. Sattva, Treta, Dapur, Kali. So Krishna comes at the end of Dapur Ju, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes in the Kali Ju. So almost about the same year, same circulation, just like the sun appears after so many hours. It is like that. And the sun does not disappear. Sun is already there in the sky. It may not be in Australia's vision, but it may be in other countries' vision. The sun is not dead. Similarly, Krishna appears by rotation in this universe after so many years, 8 billion and 9 billion years. So next he goes to another universe. Just like the sun, after disappearance from Australia, it goes to another country. Similarly, Krishna, after finishing his business in this universe, he goes to another universe. In this way, the rotation takes 8 million, 9 billion years. Just imagine how many universes are there. He stays in one universe for 125 years. Everything is a calculation in this Shastra. Now we can imagine how many universes are there. That is altogether material world. That is stated in the Athava Bahunaitina Kingatina Thavajna Vishtabhya Aham Idam Kristam Ekangsina Sthitu Jagat. This material creation is 1/4 creation of the whole God's property. And the 3/4 part is in the spiritual world. That is God. Not that cheap God, I am God, in this God. We don't accept such cheap God.
As all the devotees here are your disciples, Srila Prabhupada, eternal disciples, eternal servitors. And what if we have to take birth in the material world in the next life? How will we be able to render direct service unto you?
Yes. Even if you remain in the material, if you are not completed your spiritual life, still you will get good birth. Suchinang Simatangehi Yoga Brashta Sanjat. One who is failure in completing Krishna consciousness, then he is given next chance in a very aristocratic family or very nice, pure Brahmin's family, so that he can again cultivate Krishna consciousness. Next chance.
Will that mean taking initiation from another guru, or remain your eternal servant?
His question was, when we take initiation from you, we understand that we become your eternal servitors.
Yeah.
So if we have to come again to another birth,
But if you remain eternally in the instruction, and if you fall from the instruction, how you can remain eternal? You have to stay on the platform, then eternally you are safe. If you fall down from the platform, then it is your fault. It's like we are all in the Vaikuntha planet. Now, we wanted to enjoy this material world, we have fallen down. Just like Joy Vijay. Now we are trying to go back again. That's what we say, go back to home, back to God. So, everything is there is process. If you follow the process, then you go back. If you fall down, that is our fault. Therefore, the life is meant for tapasya. That Rishabdeva's instruction, that our life should not be wasted like dogs and hogs and pigs. It should be utilized for tapasya, for understanding our position. Tapa putra kajena suddheta satya. This is the aim of life. We have to purify our existence. At the present moment, our existence is impurified. Therefore, we are subjected to birth, death, old age and disease. And as soon as we purify ourselves, then we are not subjected to these four material laws. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Mataji. Somehow or the other, I think there's some miscommunication with His Grace Gauranga Priya Prabhupada, so we are not having him on our platform today. Now we are refreshing ourselves with Srila Prabhupada's transcendental lecture. So I don't know, maybe there's some question or contribution from devotees on the platform. We have some few senior devotees on this platform who can attend to those questions. His Grace Ganga Prasad Prabhu is here. His Grace Sade Prabhu is here. And also, if some of these senior devotees want to comment also on what Prabhupada has said to throw more light, you can unmute yourself and let devotee drink more nectar. We still have about 20 minutes more to meet up with our normal time.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Pavitra Prabhu, please continue.
Yes, I'm sending a question to Ganga Prabhu.
Oh yeah, now please ask.
Yeah, Prabhupada said if an unsuccessful yogi, they didn't go back home, back to Godhead, he'll be born in a Brahmana family or in a family of aristocratic family. But it is said that to be born in aristocratic family is dangerous because sometimes the family will not be interested in Krishna consciousness, and the child will also be sent to a school, maybe like the Prabhupada said, outside school of Krishna is a slaughterhouse. So can you please throw light on this being born in a aristocratic family?
Dr. Prasad Prabhu, if you are there, please, that is a question for you. Please unmute yourself, Prabhu.
Dandava Pranam, Hare Krishna, Agla Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for singling me out. The question is simple, and according to what is mentioned in the scripture, we have two sets of people who are unsuccessful. Unsuccessful yogis are two. One falls down after a very short practice. Short practice. The other one falls down after a prolonged practice. Prolonged practice. In both the cases, it is fall down. But then the one who falls down after short practice is the one who takes birth in the family of Brahmanas or aristocratic home where there is some plenty of wealth. The other one who falls down after a very prolonged practice, it takes birth in the home of transcendentalists. And explaining this, Prabhupada used Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur as an example, and he used himself also as example. So we are not, your question is not related to these two people. Your question is about the people who fell down after short practice and they have to take birth in the home of aristocrats. Yes, the purpose of, it's like a reciprocation. Krishna said, Ye yatamam prapadyante, tam sataiva bhajamyaham, mama vatmanuvatante, manusya pata. As they surrender, I reward them. So this is Krishna's own part of the bargain. You have done your part by following, even though there was some accidental fall. But Krishna is not leaving you because you had the fall down, so he's not reciprocating. Krishna reciprocates always. So in the reciprocation, you are giving opportunity. Krishna is reciprocating so that you can continue to progress from where you stopped. Now, how we take advantage of it depends on the individual. And if you are born in an aristocratic home, the advantage is the struggle for wealth, like we were speaking that day about simplifying our life. The struggle for wealth will not be there. All the things that wealth will do for you, automatically you log in, just like the case of Lord Buddha. Lord Buddha was born in an aristocratic circumstance, and so wealth was not the issue. But because wealth was not the issue and he was out to achieve higher heights, he has to go out searching. And when he discovered that there's birth, there's old age, there's disease, there's death, so he now was wondering, what is the use of all this wealth and convenience? When people are diseased, people die of old age, people have different material predicaments. So he left the palace and went to perform austerity. That is the experience of Lord Buddha. So yes, if the individual has sufficient sukriti, that is advantage for him. But then if the person gets enamored by this circumstance, that is where it is disaster. If you become enamored by the wealth, like Maharaj was giving class one day, he said that Dhruvas in his previous life was born in a Brahminical family. But because he went preaching and he went to a palace and he desired opulence, that's why he was born in the home of a king in his next life. So yes, it is about desire and how we place our desires. If Krishna gives us facility and we use it properly, then it is not danger. Krishna does not wish us evil. Krishna wishes us well. But ultimately, it's about self-interest. What is our own self-interest? Bharat Maharaj, he had a fall by becoming attached to a deer, even at the platform of Bhava. And he took the body of a deer. But in that body of deer, because he has very elevated consciousness, he tolerated the existence in that body of deer and was always around where the sages are reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, he took birth as a deer millions of miles in the mountains. But he traversed the mountain millions of miles to come to where the sages recite Bhagavatam daily, just to get the association. And so when he left the body of the deer in his next life, he took the body of the son of the second wife of a Brahmana. But because his evolved consciousness, he did not want to miss that chance. So on his own, he feigned being mentally retarded. He was not mentally retarded. He painted that picture. Because to live in this world, you have to be like a fool to the world. That's what he taught us. Behave like a fool to the world. And so when Jad Bharat is told, wash your hand before eating, he will wash his hand after eating. If you say wash your bum after toilet, he will wash before going to toilet. So he did exactly opposite. This is because his intelligence is fixed on his objective. So if we are born in an aristocratic family also, and our intelligence is fixed on the objective of emancipating ourselves from this material world, then wealth is not a disadvantage, it's an advantage. But if we are not fixed, then we'll get swept away. That is the little I can contribute. I don't know if that serves your need.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for your contribution. So we have His Grace Salika Prabhu also on the platform. Salika Prabhu, do you have anything to contribute to today's Prabhupada's lecture? Grace Salika Prabhu, you are there. Do you have anything to contribute to Prabhupada's lecture today, please? Please unmute yourself, Prabhu. Unmute, you are muted. Unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself, Salika Prabhu. You are muted. Unmute yourself. Now we can hear you.
Okay, Hare Krishna, sorry.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now, Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam, all glories to you, all glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Gurudev, all glories to His Grace Ganga Prasad Prabhu, and all glories to His Grace Patita Prabhu, who is also Prabhu Patita, who is asking the question. Actually, it's an opportunity for devotees to release the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. I think I will be doing injustice to myself if I have to speak after Ganga Prasad Prabhu has spoken. I think he has done very perfectly well with the question, and I offer my dandavats.
No, we're just talking generally in terms of Srila Prabhupada's lecture, not personally about, particularly about the question of Pavitra Prabhu. I mean, generally about Srila Prabhupada's lecture is a very nice, like me, I will say something like Prabhupada makes one point that is very, it clears so many doubts that devotees have been asking question about what happened to a disciple if you take an initiation from a guru and they say the guru has to deliver him eternally. What happened after the guru have gone and this. So Prabhupada make a very clear point here when they asked me that question. He said that if the disciple falls down from the process, that is it. It's the fault of the disciple. It doesn't. The guru has no any work to do. So if he's fallen out from the process, from the instruction, it's the fault of the disciple. So it's not about, okay, guru have to come again and come and deliver me. So Prabhupada make it very clear. If the disciple fall out from the instruction, it's his fault. So we have Judge Agamega Prabhu is raising his hand. Prabhu, you want to have a question? Please unmute yourself.
Oh, mine is a question.
Yeah, please ask your question, Prabhu.
Prabhu.
Yeah.
Okay. Prabhu, thank you very much for the opportunity. My question is still going to Ganga Prasad. I would like to know, because of our minute independence, that is why we fall into this. And we know, I would like to know, as a mother, when a child is playing with a sharp object, for example, like a knife, you know, a mother would like to take the knife out of the child's hand so that the knife will not be able to cut him or her. But Krishna knew very well that this minute independence that he has given us, you misuse it, but he still go ahead and give us this minute independence. And here lies the case, we have misused it and we are suffering in this material way. So I would like to know, why still Krishna knows this very well, that even this minute independence that he is going to give us, we are going to misuse it, and out of this, we are going to suffer, but still, he went ahead and gave us this minute independence. That is my question. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, mic back to you, please.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we are hearing you, Prabhu.
Yeah. If you talk about love, and without independence, love is incomplete. We love Krishna, Krishna loves us. And so in the purport of chapter 15, text 7, purport of 15:7, Prabhupada clearly delineated this. He explained that because we are eternally Mama Evanso Jiva Loka, Mama Evansa Jiva Loka Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We're eternal like God, and we have the same qualities as God. And one of those qualities of God also is independence. One of the qualities of God is independent. God is independent to do whatever he wants. So God does not deny us from expressing that independence. So if we misuse it, it is our own detriment. Just like Prabhupada said, it is the fault of the disciple. But if Krishna did not give us independence, then Krishna is minimizing us. We are then not same in quality with Krishna if we don't have that minute independence. Krishna has independence to superlative degree, but we have independence minutely, just to show that we are same in quality with God. That is why that independence is with us. So there's no way Krishna can deny that. Otherwise, the question that we are same with God will be probed. Okay? So, and then there's the English statement that says, fools, it says experience is the best teacher. But that is half a statement. The full statement is, it is only fools that learn by experience. Just like Prabhupada was saying in his lecture, you can know God by hearing the Vedas. You can also know God by chanting. So, but the foolish, even after hearing, after reading, after chanting, still they don't accept God. That's why he said, out of millions, a few endeavor for perfection. Even out of those few that attain perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Because there are interferences in our experience, what we subject ourselves to. One, we can be subjected to using our energy for negative things, which makes us discretis. We don't surrender to God. Then even when we want to surrender to God, we surrender to God with motives. But until we become purified of all these motives, which is where we express our independence, we cannot really associate or know God or interact with God. That is why the main principle for devotional service is we have to be free from the contaminations of the body of what? Jnana, karma, anadi. It has been there since time. Knowledge that is coming from monistic philosophy and different material desires. When we are cleansed of these material desires, then only we can perform devotional service constantly for the pleasure of Krishna. Otherwise, not possible. So all still is founded within our own independence. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for the wonderful explanation. So do we have any contribution from other devotees? We have about 5 minutes to just close. We will not go beyond that 5 minutes today. Any other contribution? It's great, Sadhe Prabhu. We are not hearing you today. Sadhe Prabhu, are you there? Please, we want to hear you. Please unmute yourself.
Well, Hare Krishna. Well, I think Ganga Prasad Prabhu has done a lot of amazing service. I think I don't have anything else to say other than, like you were sharing some experiences you had from Sri Prabhupada's lecture. That is one of my most favorite Sri Prabhupada's lecture because he also displayed a very much sense of humor. You know, he was like cracking jokes with the devotees, even though he was very serious. But that also tells me how important it is to listen to the spiritual master and the advanced devotee. Because when the devotee asked, we've committed so much sin, can we get rid of all our sins in this lifetime and go back home? Sri Prabhupada became so grave and he said, have you not been reading the Bhagavad Gita? What does Krishna say? And he quoted 1866. And he says that if you surrender unto me, I will relieve you immediately. And that keyword immediately is not in the translation. But the pure devotee, he understands Krishna's language. So even though the word immediately, which is a very important keyword, isn't in the translation, but because you listen to Prabhupada, you will understand that when Krishna says, if you surrender unto me, I will receive you, accept you, the key word is immediately, even though it's not there. So that tells it's very important to listen to the spiritual master and also advanced devotees. So thank you for playing that particular lecture.
Thank you, Babu, for your comments. So I think we stop here. It's almost time. Thank you for all for participating. We really appreciate your coming. There's some miscommunication with our speaker today. That's why we could not have him with us. So let us stay tuned for tomorrow. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, dear devotees.